Electrocuted
Warning.
by AT&T.
Warning, this podcast contains
Oliver Twist getting electrocuted by AT&T
simulated
buildings.
harm to children in the 1800s.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to 500 Open Tabs. I'm Kaveh Taharian.
And I'm Hannah Hillam.
And today we're joined by a very special guest. He's a friend of this podcast. He himself is a podcaster. He was on a tiny little show called My Favorite Murder that you may have heard of. But he has since branched out and himself become a prolific podcaster in his own right with shows like The Purrcast, which my wife has been on, and Hannah, apparently.
Yeah, I added that in there because
That's good.
somehow you forgot.
I'm sorry. See Jurassic Right, which I have been on, probably
Yes.
his lowest rated episode. And the latest show he's producing is called Keenan and Lakin Give You Deja Vu, a step-by-step rewatch. Please welcome to the podcast, Mr. Stephen Ray Morris.
I like that was both of our instinct to do the angry
and the crowd
beavers,
goes wild.
etc.
Yeah, that was weird. What are you guys referencing?
That was like
Well,
a crowd cheering, like really loud.
Well, because I always remember there was an episode of Angry Beavers where he's like doing the crowd noise, and then he goes, etc. Like for some reason. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hi,
Anyway,
Stephen.
Stephen, welcome to the show. Thank you for
for-
agreeing to come on and doing homework, unfortunately. It's not just a, hey, come hang out. We're like, you have to prep.
Well, again, listening to the show, it was very much like there was like the 7 degrees of like relation, grief, anger, all the fun things, because I was like, wait, am I a 500 Open Tabs person? And I actually am and am not at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
So
Please explain.
So I am somebody, I think it's the Aries part of me that's just like, let's burn this mother to the ground. So I will have a bajillion tabs open and then I will just close the entire thing. Because I'm like, I can't deal with it. Like at some point I will hit like a peak. This is too many tabs. So it actually was kind of hard to keep the 27 tabs I have open for this week since Tuesday, because there's been this instinct of wanting to just get rid of them all. But I wanted to keep them open for you guys. So
It's a self-sabotaging cycle of just I'm going to build it up and then burn it back down.
Yeah. That's kind of nice, though, that you can just let go of all of that.
Yeah.
I just feel like at some point it just like, because I'm looking at the 27 and it doesn't stress me out, but it's just sort of like, well, I can open up all the different, like I can open Dropbox, Acast, Gmail. I can reopen those anytime.
Right.
And then for like, if I'm working on something, research or whatever, like the origin of the phrase clever girl and how we got from Oliver Twist to Jurassic Park to Beyonce. But like, I will then take all the links and then put them in a document. And so maybe that's why I feel better just going,
You're saving your tabs.
You're saving. You're still keeping them.
Yes.
That
They're just not
counts.
open. Yeah.
just filling up random notes apps and things with them.
That's almost worse.
500
I think
Open
so.
Notes is your
Yes.
podcast that will be the spinoff of this.
Oh my gosh, my notes app is disastrous. And I can't keep.
There we go. We found one.
There
Where
it
you're
is.
terrible like us.
Well, and I'm curious for both of you as far as like your computer. Do you have your iPhone or whatever phone synced up to your different computers? Because I realize I can't do that.
Oh.
It'll crossing the streams. It'll just mess everything up.
Yeah, I
for
can't
me.
do that either. I have mine separate. Like I have my laptop ones and then I have my phone ones. Church and state, they got to be separate.
Yeah,
Mine are all combined. But it's one of those things where like I can access the tabs on everything from whatever I'm on.
Whoa, that's cool.
And
It's convenient too.
yeah, so if I'm like, oh, I can't remember where I opened this tab, because that happens constantly. So I can go over and see what's on my iPad or what's on my... I say it as if I have more than one thing, but it's just iPad and phone.
Wonderful.
I mean,
Stephen, I'm excited to hear what it is that you prep for us. I'm assuming it's not going to be about Clever Girl. That seems like that's going to be a See Jurassic Right thing, that someone's going to have to listen to that episode later.
Yeah, yes, that
Someone's
is.
going to get to listen to that episode
Yeah,
later.
that's true.
Thank
no,
you,
I mean
Hannah.
like...
Oh,
That's
I
not
see
what
what you
I
meant.
Okay,
I mean, like, you're not going to get it here. You're going to have to get it another time.
Understood.
So I'm going to text you something.
Coming in hot today.
Yeah.
So I'm going to text you an image first because my open tab it's a Wikipedia entry, and also there's a supplementary LA Mag article, but the image is from, I was going on a bike ride near my dad's place over the weekend. So I'm texting it to you now, and I'm curious if any of either of you have dealt with fake buildings before.
No.
So I just texted it to you.
The shit.
So I was riding my bike down in Orange County.
I don't understand. Is this like filled with air?
So
Is this like a bouncy house?
So I'll describe the image. It says AT&T on it, but the image it's like it almost looks like a ugly like a fake Venetian, or do you know shirts with tuxedo print on it? You know, not
Yes.
a tuxedo, but it's got the print of a tuxedo.
Yeah.
So
It kind of looks like
but
a Cheesecake Factory almost as well. It's got like
Yes.
Yeah.
like a painting from the inside of it.
Yes, but it's a building that has AT&T on it, and then it has like fake plants. They're just painted on the wall, and then fake windows and other like sort of Greek, Italian, like European architecture, but it's all flat.
It's all painted on. Yeah.
Yes,
Look at
it's
that.
all painted
Whoa.
on. And so this was a notion that
This feels very LA in every form.
It's Orange County, he's saying.
my like big theory about fake buildings and stuff is that it's like encouraging mental illness because it comes from the same place as like birds aren't real, where it's like, so imagine walking around and you stumble upon this weird facade, and it's like, if you have any hint of like the government's watching us, they're behind the reality underneath the reality, like that to me is what fake buildings represent. But they've
Like
actually
sends you into like a
Yeah,
A
no, it reminds
spiral.
me of like the vans, right? Where they're just like just a regular van, and it's usually
Yes.
like the FBI inside that's like listening to you inside. You're saying it's the building equivalent of that.
Yes. And so every couple years, I'll like peek down this rabbit hole. And then once you see a fake building in real life, you will see them everywhere. It's
Really?
kind of disturbing a little bit. But again,
So
maybe
wait.
go ahead.
Are these buildings fake on the, like, what's on the inside? Are they just
So-
empty?
So
I guess you're going to get to that.
Yeah, I'm going to get to it. But
Oh, here comes my cat. Sorry.
I love when
Cat
you get a
anus.
tail.
Move your tail, dude. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I mean, I'm excited to get full butthole personally.
Oh
No.
yeah. I'll do it. You want me to? You want me? Oh, the
No,
cat.
Hannah,
okay.
not yours.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
That's behind a
the-
Patreon wall. Come on, guys.
That's on my OnlyFans.
But yes, so fake building is the Wikipedia entry.
Okay.
And it is
Oh, this is exciting.
And it is not to be confused for camouflage. Obviously, that could be sort of in a similar place. And let's see. It says fake building. This is on Wikipedia. Urban camouflage for use of fake facades. See folly. For unoccupied neighborhoods in order to promote a false sense of prosperity. See Potemkin Village. We're not doing any of that.
Oh,
we're
Potemkin
not doing
Village
any
is
of those. Okay.
fascinating.
No. We are doing a fake building, also known as a fake house, a false front house, fake facade, or transformer house in specific situations.
Dope.
So I will just
It
say,
just
like,
stands up.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
stands up and starts like.
Optimus Prime.
I'm proud of you. Wait,
Finally, are you my dad?
I forget. Are either of you theme park people?
Yes.
Okay, have we
I
talked
like
about
theme
this?
parks.
I don't know. I'm not like a fan. I'm not like, I'm going
Yeah.
to go to this one and this one, but I do love a theme park. Like what?
Yeah.
No. I lied. I love like roller coasters.
Okay,
That's it.
but I feel like
I also like
I-
roller coasters.
But I feel like there's like the part of, I think, loving the power of the movies and all that kind of stuff where you're like, ooh, sets and everything. And that's really exciting. But you know that like there's nothing behind it. Whereas like fake buildings to me are like the opposite, and why to me they're kind of creepy because basically like fake buildings throughout the world are places to hide power stations, cell phone stuff, subway, air vents. Like essentially it's that notion of like, I think what is it called? HOAs, like in neighborhoods
yeah.
and stuff where it's like, this sort of suburbanized, where everything has to look the same and beautiful and, but unfortunately like fake buildings are the product of like industrialization and that notion of like, oh, well, we need a power station here, like in the middle of this beautiful neighborhood, so let's disguise it as like a regular home.
But disguise it badly, it seems like.
I was going to say, AT&T doesn't have money to actually build like a proper facade, so they just hire somebody, even pay them like $5 an hour to paint like the shittiest looking building. Like, what's the deal?
Well, no, and I agree with you, and I think that'll be like a fun part to discuss because, you know, if you just Google fake building, you'll see tons of examples because they've been around. One of the earliest examples is, and I feel like it's one of those that makes the rounds every while, like on Atlas Obscura and stuff. But there was a subway station. Let me try and find the name of it. For example, sorry,
By the way, when you were saying subway air vents, all I could think of was like being in the subway and smelling the smell of Subway sandwiches.
Oh, I was
and then there was like some weird, well, that too, but kind of similar. But I thought there was like air vents where people were just getting Subway bread smell, just getting pumped into the buildings everywhere they went.
Oh, the worst Willy Wonka tour ever. But
Subway.
A Subway tour.
Yeah.
The Subway experience.
This is where we keep the shredded lettuce.
Yeah.
Here's the walk-in freezer where you can go and take a break to cry.
Augustus Gloop,
Partway through your ship.
So one of the earliest known examples of fake houses, and I feel like this was like the first time that I heard about it, was the fake house on 58 Joralemon Street in New York City. It was acquired by the Interborough Rapid Transit Company in 1907. And basically the train was going under this part of the city, and they were like, we need to have air to, I don't know, maintain the, the
temperature and
temperature,
stuff.
whatever.
Yeah. Plus all those
they
train
were
farts, they need to air them out, otherwise it gets real bad.
Endless.
So they were like, so it was an issue of like, okay, well, we could just have a big ugly vent in the middle of this nice neighborhood. But instead, they built basically what looks like a cute, brownstone or whatever.
Oh.
And now it's like a historic thing. But if you look up if you look up fake buildings, the Joralemon Street in New York City, again, I think you both bring up good points that you're like, okay, these are fake and they're trying to like beautify the neighborhood and stuff, but they're not really like, I'm not convinced. Doesn't seem like either you are convinced either.
But I kind of love them. I love that they're there. I like that. That's like a weird little, it feels very like specifically American.
Yes.
In that, we have these big sprawling, these huge cities.
We live in denial is what it makes
We
it
live in
feel
denial.
like American.
Okay. So I texted the image. This was the New York City one that is technically a train vent.
Oh.
Dude, this just looks like the back lot of like Universal, essentially.
Yeah. So I think for me, the interest is like, bringing a bit of that theme parkness to it. But then there's also this kind of like, again, the part of me that just thinks that, it's just like if you were like vaguely schizophrenic, I just feel like this would like drive me into a like a
100%.
Like imagine
That's the first thing I thought of.
Yep.
Like if you grabbed a bird and it made metal sounds, you'd be like, oh no,
You're like, I was right all along.
Yeah.
I need to destroy this camera before it spies on me. And then you get a dead bird in your hands.
There's no explanation. They're just like, here's just a fake building. And there's not like, hey, by the way, this is hiding this other stuff. You're like, no, you're an insane person. That's just it.
No, that's a great point. I guess that's the part for me that feels, yes, in a weird way, gaslighting from actually electric power station. How ironic.
Yep. Or gas power. They might be covering up gas.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, the gas from the subway's station.
I was going to ask, so is the roof of this thing open?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes.
Because otherwise the air is not going to just get trapped in this in the building, right? Because if it's enclosed and it doesn't really function, so it's got to have an out.
Yes. So again, it's that notion of like, well, they're sort of beautifying the neighborhood or whatever you want to call it, or, keeping in line with the aesthetic of what's around it. But like, again, having these like tuxedo on a t-shirt level just like they're only going so far. So again, it isn't really like, it's not actually hidden. It's just like, you're like, that's weird.
You do a double take of like, am I in a real place? Is this reality?
Is this a simulation?
It reminds me of near where I lived in Utah, there was a telephone pole that they disguised as a tree, but they chose a tree that was only native to the East Coast, and it was massive, the wrong color, and they're like, "There's the telephone pole." And it's like the laughing stock. We're like, "Oh, there's the big fake tree," and every time I see it, I laugh because it's so dumb looking.
There's so many of those in LA. There's like all the fake, are they like pine trees, or I think what they're trying to make them look like, and they're all antennas.
Yeah.
It looks awful.
Awful, because they're not native.
Well, and also it's like if like a Minecraft or a Lego tree was set down.
A Lego tree would be awesome.
No, I'm here for it. But I mean, again, I have Lego flowers with me right now.
Ooh,
so
those are pretty. I've seen those ones before. I love them.
So maybe I'm the right audience for it. But actually, the person who ran our film program, Lisa Parks, actually wrote a great book about the rise of those fake antennas that are trees.
Oh.
But yeah, I would say that's an offshoot of this. But what I find really interesting, and again, I'm just reading, kind of skimming over the Wikipedia, but it's interesting because it was like at the start of the Industrial Revolution, it was like, oh my gosh, we're so proud of our like power. You know, look at these, substations and these transformers and everything. And
look at our power and wealth and
yes, exactly. Like
scientific.
Like we are the future kind of stuff.
Yeah,
totally. But it was known as the waterworks style, and it was basically because they had to keep creating all these support structures, going from gas, from steam to gas. The building architectures were to communicate a message to the public of safety and reliability and express their functions. Building designs inherited from beam engine buildings required strong, rigid walls and raised floor to support the engines. And again, this is all known as the waterworks style. Again, it's the LA Mag article that I will also include a link to is that there are oil wells in the middle of LA, like right in front of us. There used to be until a few years ago an oil well in the middle of Beverly Hills. It was called the Tower of Hope.
Obviously.
Part of the Beverly Center is an oil rig. Isn't that wild? Yes.
I didn't know that.
Weird.
Right next to a hospital?
Yeah, so I will.
Don't put anything next to a hospital.
What the hell?
The oil rig, the Tower of Hope, used to be at the Beverly Hills High School. So
where it should be, next to children, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not all these cancer-causing agents or whatever rising up from the air. So I'll text you this article just so you can browse through the photos of the Tower of Hope.
Yes. That's
also Tower of Hope is like so contradictory because Tower of makes me, speaking of theme parks, it makes me think of like Tower of Terror.
Right.
But then they put hope at the end. It's speaking of being gaslit.
It feels like it's like Scientology. That's the kind of vibe I get from the name Tower of Hope, where it's like, what? Or it's just some kind of culty.
Yes, no, there's definitely a vibe to it because it has a weird shape of like a Wicker Man looking sort of.
Whoa!
These all look like Soviet prisons.
They really do.
True. The Cardiff Tower, part of the Beverly Center. There's the Packard Well site that's in mid Wilshire. Again, they have that kind of like mid-century, like going from post-industrial through World War I and II, going through Art Deco, going through the waterworks, going through, brutalist.
I was going to say, this is very brutalist is what it looks like.
So I don't know. I mean, have either of you ever seen a fake building out in the wild before?
No. I bet they're all over. But I haven't ever really.
I remember
thought about
in the Bay Area. I remember seeing one, or I remember seeing what they would make like facades, where it would be like, it would look like, how do I explain it? So it's like, instead of multiple buildings, it would be a shopping center, for example. So there'd be like 5 stores next to each other. So it'll be like, here's a Chipotle and here's like a Zales and a Men's Warehouse or like whatever. And they would look like, they were trying to make it look like it was 5 buildings, but it would just be one facade. And then just like painted different colors to make it look like they were different ones, but they were all technically one building with like different rooms in it. But that's the closest I ever remember seeing of like a fake building. Sorry, Hannah, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I call that set piece architecture because it is all over the suburbs of America. It's like here's a tire. Here's like, go get your tires filled or come buy some tires. And then it's just one like big, huge, ugly facade. And then right behind the facade, it's just a flat roof. It looks fake. So fake.
Yeah.
No, totally. I had this idea for a bespoke hipster Target where it would look like it would be called like,
Hold on, Steven, let's unpack this.
Hold on.
Let's unpack this. There's too many words you just threw in a row.
Bespoke hipster Target.
I guess
Please explain.
bespoke and hipster could just be interchangeable. But
okay.
No, to your point, Hannah, where it's like the Americana and the Grovization, where,
Grovization.
we grew up with malls, ugly ass, but like beautiful.
So ugly.
Like I love looking at just like old mall videos and all that kind of liminal space stuff.
None of this Rick Caruso shit that we're getting now.
Have you
I'm so
ever
glad he
walked
failed.
around a dead mall?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I got to do it before they ripped one out over here. It was
Really?
the coolest thing. It has a weird, like a truly liminal space of like, there's an old Claire's and you can't see the little sign anymore, just where the letters used to be. The lighting's weird. And it's, anyway, I interrupted somebody. Who did I interrupt?
No, but
Nobody.
But to that point,
We're all
the new
talking.
version, like kids today are growing up with like, all of this it's the same mall, but just it's just dressed differently. Like you're saying,
Yeah.
it's just
Right.
these facades that make it seem more authentic and more, you know what I mean? But it's all it's all just but my version of that Target is because it's like they want to make like neighborhood ones that seem like it's like the general store kind of thing.
Bodega or something.
Yeah,
Like the
exactly.
City Target kind of thing, right?
Yes, but the style of it would be in this version of like they want to like do the Grove version or the Americana version of Target. They would make it look like an old general store. You know,
Oh, I see.
so that would be the vibe. So it would maybe have like maybe you would use like a darker maroon instead of the bright red. And again, it would have like all the fake wood of like you're in the frontier land at Disneyland,
Sure.
Oh, Frontier Target.
Yes.
I'm just thinking of like Old
I would
Town Sacramento
That's what
specifically.
I'm
It's
saying.
like
We're falling for it, Hannah.
Yeah,
We're like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, it's like, ooh, I'm going to my small neighborhood, general
I
store,
think-
but it's
I think that would turn me into a full-blown capitalist. I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay.
my brain went to the opposite direction, which is you create a brutalist fake facade Target that has like a fake door, and then you open it up in a new neighborhood, and people are like angrily trying to enter the Target and shop because people will go to Target no matter what, and then they all get electrocuted instead because there's just a bunch of wires.
oh, because it's a
death.
transformer inside there.
There's just
Just death.
I want Target.
I mean, it probably has happened.
So you want to kill people, and we want a
I don't
fun
want people. I don't want to kill
store
them.
experience.
Yeah, listen.
We
You guys all
want-
watch Squid Game. Whatever.
You
Don't
just want to
judge.
scare them. You just want to scare them.
Yeah. Be
Again,
like you're
we're-
too obsessed with Target. I know it's great, but
No,
oh my
yeah,
God,
we
look at
don't
her
need
go.
to be.
Hannah's about to have a meltdown.
Dare you say I'm obsessed with Target? I'm obsessed with Steven's Target.
Thank you. No, we don't need to be obsessed with businesses. The
No.
businesses aren't people, and
It is creepy when people are like, my kid had a Target-themed birthday party, and it's like, ooh, you had a Target-themed birthday party for your kid.
I mean, part of me. Oh no. But yeah, I think to me. Anyway,
All I'm thinking is Hannah wanting to electrocute children at the fake Target.
You're the one who had the electrocution plan.
I was trying to murder adults, okay, not kids with their whole lives ahead of them.
this is the American Squid Games. This is the American Squid Games.
Electro Target.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, they don't have to die. I just said they're electrocuted. I didn't say that they necessarily had to. It's just a shock. It's a warning.
Oh,
like
okay.
in Jurassic Park. It's like for the fences for the dinosaurs to keep them.
And then fly out. And then
Is this
Sam
our-
Neill makes
okay.
out with you. What? Anyway.
Oh my gosh. Inside the Electro Target? I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Speaking of another shock. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
I mean, I feel like we brought up a lot of the good points. I mean, if anything, again, it's interesting that neither of you have, maybe you've noticed it. Again, it's something that'll like all kind of, again, there's that vague simulation matrix feeling of like, when you looked at that AT&T building, you're kind of just like,
Something's not quite right.
yeah, it's very.
I'll say this too. A lot of, in my opinion, Los Angeles it's really ugly as shit. And a lot
Yeah.
of the buildings are like so terrible looking and the facades are awful. So frankly, I probably have seen it a million times, but I just don't. I'm the target market where I'm like, I don't even register it because I'm like, this is ugly as shit like the rest of them. So I
Your
don't even
artist
notice.
brain just deletes it from your view. I do that all the time.
Angry when I'm out driving in Los Angeles anyway. So I'm just trying to block everything out and get home before I start screaming at somebody.
Well, so then my question is like, obviously there was a push for this idea to like hide. And that's very much America, right? We don't want to see, you know, if you eat meat, it's like, we don't want to see that meat, process, you know? Yeah. And in this country, we don't want to see, we want to, again, I use the quote beautify because I feel like that's kind of an insidious word, but that notion of like covering up all that stuff. But then at the same time, I guess would you guys want to live in a place where that stuff is just out on display?
Yes.
Like, I mean, is there maybe?
Sorry, I jumped on that.
No,
too fast.
but I mean, but also
finish your question.
But I mean, yeah. Would you rather have that transparency, Kaveh? Were you saying of like having maybe even just a little plaque on the outside of the building, being like, "Hey, this is like, you know, a cell tower or whatever."
Yeah. Anna, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I just love the look of anything industrial, and I think it adds some charm to things. And maybe that's just me, and the fact that I grew up next to the train tracks.
Yeah.
But like, I really like that mixing of city and industry, and I like to draw it. Honestly, I like to draw industrial looking crap.
I'd also be okay with it existing and not trying to hide it, because it becomes very uniform. But I think like there is an importance, obviously, to it's like the facade doesn't actually help the intent, right? If the intent is to feel like less industrial or like everything's a hellscape, you could at least balance it out by being like, okay, well, maybe 4 blocks over, we're going to plant like a row of trees on this whole section. And there's like a little bit more, like, it's okay. Like that's part of what living in a city is. So just give us more little parks in between, maybe, as a way to, if you want to try and offset it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Which is what
for
cities and around in San Jose, they do that. A lot of, they'll have like little tiny places where there is like some power station or whatever, and they'll put trees all around it. And they'll put a fence around it, and you don't even notice them. They're just kind of there. And I wonder if
people in Silicon Valley don't notice much outside of what they're doing on the day-to-day.
Outside of the screen that they're looking at on their Tesla. It's interesting to me, like, if they had left them uncovered, I wonder if we would start kind of deleting it from our vision, kind of like we have with, like, telephone wires, or because you look out and when you start to think about it, you're like, there's a ton of cables up here. I've never noticed it, and so I wonder if it would just become something like that, like, there's some stuff.
Background noise.
Because we've called attention to it, or because we're trying not to call attention to it, we've called more attention to it.
I'm gonna notice it. I'm gonna be like, oh shit, I've been living in a fake building this entire time. I didn't even realize it.
Like, wait, that's not my wife. That's a huge metal.
Why is my rent so high?
Cling, cling, cling.
Clink, clink.
I was wondering why I was paying to AT&T every month. I thought that was strange.
I was wondering why there's no real windows in here.
This is, I wasn't thinking about this, but again, this idea of like, now that I've called it out, I feel like your listeners have to chime in if they've had any interesting stories, or
they will.
If they start to see it. Because this is a thing that happened while I was in Mexico City with my family. My dad, my sister, and I became obsessed with the Bader-Meinhof effect, which is like that idea of like, once you call something out, then you notice it more or whatever.
You start seeing it.
Yeah, where it's like, obviously Frida Kahlo is one of the biggest artists and like influential figures of all time. But then after we went to Casa Azul, I went to her house and everything. Now it's like every day I'll see her imagery everywhere.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It just kind of blends in until you're aware of it, and then it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that to me, like, I feel like fake buildings was like the moment I saw that and then was, coming on the show, I was like, oh, I feel like this just opens more brain tabs of like, because then I opened up the tab for Birds Aren't Real and, all that stuff,
I love Birds Aren't Real.
Birds Aren't Real is fun, though.
Yeah.
It's hard, though, because some people think birds aren't real. And then
really?
I think so.
Oh, no.
Or maybe that's just I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's
people
just
think all sorts of things now.
That's true. They do. They think the Earth's not flat. I'm sorry. They think the Earth is flat and not round.
This is how we find out that
flat. Yeah, exactly. I'm a flat Earth truther.
No. Okay.
You're getting canceled already?
Yeah. But yeah, about time. I'm ready. Let's pack it up. No. But yeah, I just feel like this to me is such a topic where like I'll just, in the past, I've we'll just, watch 4 or 5 videos on YouTube of people talking about it and then send it to other people. Like, I feel like that's also part of this topic to me, is that it's something that I like. It's the party thing. You want to talk. You're like, oh my gosh, have you guys seen this fake building? Like, and like, wait, I haven't seen. Wait, fake buildings? What are you talking? And then it's like, I don't know.
Suddenly they're everywhere. And I also love that you had this article that's like 4 fake oil well, or there's 4 hidden oil wells in LA, and I'm like, this is the kind of stuff I open up. This is the kind of stuff I read. That's the clickbait that I fall for good reason.
Also, to our listeners, if you live by a fake building or you see one in your neighborhood, please take a picture of it and tag us in it on the show. We would actually love to see those, and we can share them with others just so we can see how god awful they all are.
Yeah, we'll rate them on a scale of like, this could be. So
this
there's
could be
like
our new Facebook face smash
someone
thing.
lives here, or this is.
Which fake building is hotter between these two?
Yeah.
Well,
seriously, which one is more convincing and architecturally accurate? That's what I would be into.
Well, that's what I feel like, because I feel like anything else, it's sort of gone downhill. Where you look at, I mean, even the train thing in New York, like they still have actual physical protrusions and things poking out. Where again, this AT&T one in Orange County is the tuxedo T-shirt of fake buildings.
It really is.
Wait, real quick, Stephen, where is it in Orange County specifically?
I think it's somewhere down in, I think we're like Balboa and Newport Beach, kind of around that area. So I was on a long bike ride and it was just like, almost fell off my bike because I was like, oh my God, it's another fake building. But because I just didn't expect one to see in Orange County, because how we've been saying, it really obviously sprung up in cities more than suburbs. But and I can't find it right now, but there was definitely, I remember seeing a video on a fake building that was just like a neighborhood home in the middle of like a suburb, which to me is even creepier.
Yeah.
Right?
Very creepy.
It's not like a wall of buildings and then this one just happens to be fake. It's like cute, like homestead, whatever, suburban houses, and then literally just like one where the windows are just like flat and painted on.
I would go
and
insane. I'd be like, my neighbor hasn't left his house in the 10 years that I've lived here. What the hell?
Ooh, this would be like a good if they remade The Sandlot or something, or like any one of these like kids adventure movies. Like there's like a Stranger Things episode where it's like there's a fake building and then it leads to some dimension or portal.
The corporate AT&T executive comes in and starts trying to kill a bunch of kids.
Yes. Yeah. With the electric target.
Yeah, and it's revealed to be Hannah Hillam, who's mad at children for having Target birthday parties.
Really quick, I like how Electro Target. It's great because if it's like Squid Game, it's like a target, a literal target to like shoot. Anyway,
double entendre.
It's double meaning.
Yeah. Now you're thinking.
That's pretty much it for fake buildings.
Sorry, Stephen, we totally derailed you.
No.
Welcome to our podcast.
That's pretty much it. I mean, we could go into different, like, you could look up different ones. The Wikipedia has like an actual list, which I know you've spoken about lists before. Yeah, lists of fake buildings.
I love lists.
Hannah loves a list.
Hold on.
I like that some people have uploaded photos, but then some people haven't. Get on them.
Oh, this is a great list.
What I find interesting is that the community isn't always involved with it, but I can't tell whether or not when the community gets involved if it's any better, if that makes sense. Like, like Hoboken, like there was like a flood station, and they were like, ooh, let's make it look like a cute colonial townhouse. And then everyone in the city was like, no, wait, but that doesn't look like how the rest of the city looks. So they changed it to be more in line with, there was like a transportation building nearby. So, but, maybe that was uglier, but it blended in more. So I feel like, the community, I feel like the community's involvement. I mean, I think the community involvement is always good, even if it makes it uglier, just
that's
getting
their
more
decision. Yeah.
Yes,
they're like, we want to make it look like a giant bouncy house because screw you. That's why.
Wow, that's
to disappoint children everywhere.
That is a super liminal space thing where you just have like a weird giant bounce house in the middle of a city.
But it's like not even soft. It's just a big like.
This sounds like a Stephen King novel now, by the way.
Yeah, it does. Electro Target bounce house.
Yeah. But yeah, fake buildings.
Stephen, I'm obsessed with this now because I'm on the
left field
Wikipedia.
shit, yeah.
And these houses, some of these are so convincing. The ones in London are all very convincing.
Yeah, I feel like they went the extra mile a little bit, where in the U.S. it's like, just paint some plants on it and some weird Venetian, some weird Greek columns or whatever, you know?
That's classy. Thank you. This was so fun.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh,
Yeah.
Glad you guys liked it.
Yeah, very
loved
much
it.
so. And I also like that you went a bit left field too. This is not something I would have expected from you, which is great.
Well, that's the thing too, when, listening to your show, and it's like, there are rabbit holes that we love going down, but I'm also a workaholic like both of you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't want to just bring up a thing that's related to the stuff I'm working on. I was like,
Right.
I am a sensuous, multifaceted human being.
You are.
You are.
And,
I'm learning that.
And this is like an interest that is like not monetized or anything. I have not started a fake building podcast, or
Until
anything.
today. That's what you
Until
actually
today.
came on
This
here
is
to announce.
I'm here to promote my podcast called Fake Building. I don't know. I had nothing.
Facade cast or something.
Podcast.
Yeah.
That's actually, God damn it. Now you got to do it, Steven. It's too good of a name.
Copyrighted, go.
So good.
I'm writing that down. But yeah, it just was like, I love all the stuff that you guys talk about. And so it was like, I
you.
could, like, do I need to talk about Jurassic Park again? I can do that on my podcast. That's what that's for.
I appreciate you bringing, because here's the thing. I've seen only one of the Jurassic Parks, so I would have been just as excited for Jurassic Park as anything else. But this is great. So thank you.
I mean, I did bring up the Beyonce Jurassic Park reference thing, mostly because it's something I'm actively researching right now. And I bought a copy of Oliver Twist to confirm if maybe I guess I could look online, but I kind of want to actually read Oliver Twist. But the phrase "clever girl" might have come from Oliver Twist.
It's a really big one, isn't it? It's
That's
really
a
long.
slog.
Yeah.
Speaking of industrial, that's all about.
Speaking of children dying. Yeah,
exactly.
It's
Oliver Twist is like, what is with this fake building here? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Electrocuted
Warning.
by AT&T.
Warning: this podcast contains
Oliver Twist getting electrocuted by AT&T
simulated
buildings.
harm to children in the 1800s. But yeah.
Anyway.
That was awesome, Stephen. Thank you. We loved it. Moving on, Hannah, I think you went first last time we had a special guest. So is it all right if I go first, or are you going to electrocute me to death?
I might quit. But yeah.
Okay. So my tab is one that this is one's going to be interesting. You guys are going to like this one. And it covers stuff that I have covered before. But it's a very different story than I've heard before. And it's a quick one. So I'm not going to tell you what the title of the article is, once again, because the title of the article gives it away. I'm just going to tell the story. Just get ready. Okay?
I'm ready.
We're here.
You're here. Okay. So
I'm in my mental fake building. Sorry.
Good. Perfect. Just relax. Get in your, grab a fake Target cup. That's hold off, that has no liquid in it, and just hit the cup against your face, against your teeth as you're trying to drink something.
And then we realized you're not real. You're actually just plastic hitting plastic.
Exactly.
Steven's fake.
Sorry, that was a terrible introduction I was giving. I was just trying to stall as I pulled up my window, and I didn't really know what I was saying. Anyway,
I want someone to edit this part of the video. Add something fun.
I'll do it in solidarity with you, Hannah.
Just not a cup. Anyway.
All right. So, Hannah, if you remember last time we had a guest on the show, I did a tab about marine life in Australia.
Sharks, yeah.
Sharks. Just by coincidence. Actually, I had pulled up a different tab that I was going to do for Steven specifically, but this one was too crazy and I had to do the story instead. I'm sorry, Steven. I'll tell you afterwards what I was going to do in honor of you, but I thought you guys would appreciate this one more. So, this takes place in Bremer Canyon, which is a marine life hotspot about 30 miles off the west coast of Australia between Albany and Hopetoun. And I guess this is an area that's very popular for whales and whale watching. There's like a bunch of different whale pods that swim around here.
Not Tide Pods.
Tide Pods, they're looking for Tide Pods. That's what they call them.
It's funny because I thought of podcasts, whale pods, podcasts.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hi, welcome back to the whale pod.
How old are we all? Are we children?
I don't know.
Old enough to get electrocuted at a Target.
I'm told I'm like in my 30s, but I don't feel it.
Again, I'm turning 37 next week.
Happy birthday.
Oh, yeah, that's what I forgot to say, too, is that this is another birthday podcast by accident.
It is.
Amazing.
Yeah, you're right.
Repetition. Anyway, so on March 20th, Nowruz, by the way, happy Nowruz, a ship went out and they were observing a pod of orcas. You know, orcas, everyone's favorite working class, union strong, yacht destroying, underwater allies. Now,
working class icons. Mm-hmm.
You might think that that's where the story is going to go, but I assure you, it is not going to go the way that you think it is. So this is not that kind of story. So marine biologist Jenna Tucker, who works on board the Naturaliste Charters tour boat, witnessed this incident. So they had been following a specific pod of orcas for a couple of hours and couldn't quite figure out what they were up to. They were sort of coming up and down and going back and forth, and they're moving along. And they suddenly realized that the matriarch of the orca pod, who they've named Cookie, because this is one that they've seen before, she busts out in front of the pack and dashes towards something.
Oh.
And so Jenna and everyone on the boat got really excited. They're like, all right, cool. Like, grab your popcorn. Like, let's see what's going to happen here. And Cookie's chilling. She gets ahead of everybody. And then she's just waiting for a second for the rest of the lazy ass pod of orcas to catch up to her. Because
interesting.
They're probably all out of shape from like vaping and being in front of the computer all day.
Gen Z whales. Yeah. Gen Z orcas.
But Cookie's, she's not like that. She uses a standing desk and she uses the words optimize and analytics as often as possible. So you know
I hate her.
She's in shape.
I hate her. I bet she would be so into HOAs. Oh
yeah, would love following rules. Oh, no, she's trying to disrupt the HOA is what she would like lead her campaign as.
By doing HOAs under a different name, which is all 100%. Tech does. Yeah.
She's like that neighbor, the color of the wainscoting, you know, on the deck is like a shade too bright for this.
And I need to take it up with the city.
Yeah.
Yes. Ugh.
I like how we're projecting a lot onto this whale.
That's the quote of the episode.
Projecting onto the whale. As it turns out, the orcas were actually in the midst of hunting a pod of young sperm whales.
Oh.
Yeah, which is apparently not super common.
The biggest animal on Earth.
Yeah, or no, that's blue whale.
Blue whales, yeah.
But I believe sperm whales are the largest predatory whale.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that, actually.
Sperm whales are, yes.
Yeah.
I think. So it's not something that happens that often, but it is a thing that's happened occasionally. So they're like, oh, this is kind of crazy. Like, this is a bit rare. This is happening. So I don't know if this is because we've given orcas too much power lately and now they're getting like a god complex and they think that they can do whatever they want. And we stand an orca and we're hoping that they're going to kill all billionaires and fix society for us. But
I would follow them. No.
You would.
I don't want to kill all billionaires. Just the child ones, all right?
All the billionaires listening to this podcast are like, oh, finally, we don't have to
worry.
Put Canada to work. It's going to be like medieval times. We're just going to be jesters for rich people.
Sure. We're all running some weird serfdom of like some plot of land that we're paying. I mean, that's basically all we're doing now.
That is. Yes.
Anyway, so this orca pod comes across the sperm whale pod and they're like, great. We're going to have an all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. This is going to be awesome. And it's on. And they're like, we're going to eat as much protein as possible because the goal when you're at a buffet is not to enjoy your meal, but it's to ensure that the restaurant owners go bankrupt because you've maximized your profit margins. Only eat the most expensive thing.
Orca origins.
Oh.
I can no longer enjoy myself at a buffet because I'm incapable of just enjoying it. I have to eat it in a way that's competitive, and I just always end up upsetting myself.
Oh, no.
It's bad. I shouldn't go. And so these orcas, they're doing their whole hunting song and dance routine. You know, they're going about them. And now when sperm whales, when there's a pack of them, when they're under attack, they do this thing that's really interesting. It's called a rosette circle. And what it functions like is sort of like a huddle in football.
Oh.
And what they do is they get in like a little circle and then there's like a calf, usually whoever like the smallest whale is, gets in the center of the circle. And then all the other whales, all the sperm whales, their heads are in the middle of the circle and then their tails are all out.
Oh, wow.
Does that make sense? Kind of like a flower with like so the bigger whales are the petals of a flower and then the calf is the one that's in the center. And because their
Cool.
tails are the stronger parts of them, they basically just go like, blah, 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 blah. They basically do like kickboxing to like fend off the predators, like, or do Taibo or whatever.
It's like a
do that again.
I was gonna say it reminds me of like a wagon circle, like on the frontier.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's safe in the middle, and then you're like pointing outwards or whatever.
I don't know why they call it Circle in the Wagons. They should have called it Circle in the Whales. They came up with it.
Yeah.
So
I thought I had something to say and I didn't.
it's okay. I never do.
I feel high. I feel high on this episode. I don't know why. I'm like living off of all this. Never mind.
This
Please
whale
cut that.
kicking.
Yeah. Love whales.
Anyway, and so the whales regrouped while keeping a wary eye on the orcas. This is the sperm whales, by the way. And
Okay.
Cookie, and so, okay, so this is happening, right? And everybody on the surface on the boat, they're watching, and they see Cookie suddenly came flying through the water like a rocket at this little pod of whales. And they're basically like a battering ram trying to go in at this circle of whales. By the way, just so we're clear, we're using whale a lot, but it's the orcas are ramming at the pod of sperm whales.
Okay.
Yes.
So we can keep track of all this. And they keep ramming them in this Rosetta circle, and they were not able to break through. They just keep going boom, boom, boom. And this becomes like this serious, epic, insane battle. They're fighting for their lives.
Cool.
They're just like back and forth, like blah, blah, blah. It's very dramatic. And the
it's
sperm
just
whales.
and it's just Cookie, right?
No. So Cookie leads the chase.
Oh.
So the other ones, I'm sorry, I forgot
the other
to say.
ones
So
have all joined
the other ones
in.
catch up. Yeah. So now it's like this whole thing where it's two pods fighting each other. Basically, like
Whoa.
Steven on this podcast, we're all fighting for attention on a podcast together. Two podcasts battling it out.
You know how many times I've not talked? I'm so proud of myself for all the things I haven't said. All the times I haven't interrupted you guys.
Just say it, Hannah. The audience wants to hear it.
I want to hear it, Hannah.
Yeah. Why would you not talk? It's a podcast.
Because you're talking about something, and because I don't want to orca your sperm whale.
Imagine if you hadn't said that. We wouldn't have gotten that bit of gold.
Beautiful.
Always say the thing. Anyway,
all the times I was told to calm down and stop showing
Yeah.
off as a kid, it's all gone away.
This is the opposite. This is what we're trying to do, is to get you to do it more. So the orcas are ramming at them. They're going crazy, and it's like this epic battle. And the sperm whales, they get really distressed, and they're like exhausted. And they see them. They keep like poking their heads out of the water and letting out these huge weaving breaths. They're like, "Ah!" And then they like go back down, and then another one comes up, and he's like, "Ah!" And then like the orcas are ramming back and forth. It's crazy, right?
They're screaming.
They're screaming, and everyone's going back and forth. Everyone's getting super worn down. No one is backing down at all. And all of a sudden, shit got real. And suddenly, there's this massive, dark, red bubble that just comes up from underneath the ocean. It goes, and it broke the surface of the ocean near the largest whale in the circle. And it covered another orca whose name is Wonks. So Wonks comes up, and this thing bursts, and it's just covered in red goo, and it's just like, bruh. It's like a horror movie, basically.
Wonks.
Wait, I need to know what this is. I'm at the edge of my seat.
Oh, yeah. It's blood, right?
So Wonks is like, yeah, and then it just swims right away. And Jenna's like, everything went quiet. So this is the quote from Jenna, the marine biologist. She says, everything kind of went quiet, and there was a very solemn sort of mood on the deck of the boat because we thought they'd just taken out the calf, as one of the sperm whales did significantly look smaller than the others.
Oh.
But it's weird that Wonks, who was the one to finally break through, just swam away? Question mark.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe the calf had a weird diet and was raised vegan from birth and tasted weird. We don't know.
Interesting that you
Then
think that
suddenly-
people who are vegan taste different, but yeah.
Vegan babies. I don't know. I'm not an orca and I haven't eaten children, but despite your best efforts, Hannah,
I'm going to let that one sit for a while.
we're just going to let that sit for a while. And then another orca, this one named Shredder,
Hell yeah. Cowboy.
Yes.
pops up again from the red bubble and basically does what Wonks does. But Shredder slaps her tail one time in a way that seemed to like reflect that she was frustrated, and then leaves again. the rest of the orcas come up and they have like their own little huddle, like they're discussing something, and then they all just leave.
What?
Whoa.
They're like, this buffet sucked. This is all tilapia. It's a huge waste of my time. There was no king crab or steak. I can't believe I paid for all this. No thanks. Bye.
The soft
Just
serve
blood.
is really wet. You know it, right?
Yeah. Disgusting.
And blood. It's
Yeah.
the soft serve is blood.
Gross.
Sorry, so Steven, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I just watched you get grossed out, and then
No,
anyway.
it's very evocative.
And,
Thank you.
And everyone on board the ship, they see this whole thing. They're like, can you believe it? Like, this is amazing. We got to see some crazy, like, planet Earth shit. And, like, it's sad that calf had to die, but, like, that's Mother Nature. That's life, circle of life. It's fine. And then they go back to land. And Jenna, the marine biologist, she's kind of like, something about that seemed fishy. I'm sorry to say that. That wasn't an intentional pun, but it was. Even though they're mammals, but you know what I'm saying.
I was going to say that neither of them are fish, so.
And she's like, something about that seemed off. I've not seen behavior like that before, and I don't really understand what it is. So they go back and they'd recorded the footage of this attack happening. And she goes back and she looks at the footage, and she's sitting there and she's watching it. And suddenly she's like, oh, shit. Okay, here's a fact about sperm whales. They love squid. And, there's the whole, sperm whale versus the giant squid. That's like a thing that's all throughout literature and art and in the, the
old-timey maps.
museum. Old-timey maps and stuff.
There's always a corner with a kraken fighting a
Sperm whale.
giant squid fighting a sperm whale, yeah.
They love squid. They're mortal enemies, yes, but they also respect them. And some might say they're even inspired by squid. So Jenna starts to put it all together. When the sperm whales were in their rosette formation while under attack from the orcapod, they thought like a squid.
What?
What did they do? They sprayed their enemies. So you might be thinking, do sperm whales have ink? What did they spray them with? Right? No one can tell. One final fact. I'll give you this one before I explain to you what it is. Sperm whales, their diet mostly consists of squid. And what color are the squid?
Red.
Like blood.
Oh. Oh.
Whoa.
No, I'm putting pieces together.
That's
All
right.
right.
You ready for this?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so ready.
While they're getting attacked, this entire pod of sperm whales sprayed hot diarrhea at the attacking orcas.
Why?
I thought it was going to be throw up.
Oh, it's so much worse.
Why'd you say hot?
Boils the water around it? No, we don't know that.
We make a lot of stuff up on this podcast, so we're going to say, yeah, that happened.
That red bubble that popped at the surface was not the blood of a dead calf. It was the remnants of a night of drinking and 2 a.m. at Taco Bell drive-thru for sperm whales.
Shit. Oh.
I'm so grossed out. I'm so grossed out, dude.
Just all these whales being like, I'd like 5 cheesy roll-ups and, a stacker.
Extra squid.
Baja Blast.
Oh, they Baja blasted, all right.
They Baja blasted those orcas almost to death.
So
Wow.
the term is called defensive defecation.
Wow.
So
way.
basically, those sperm whales coming up and being like, ah! That was basically them being like, I need a breath because we're sitting here in a pool of our own diarrhea as a way to stop these orcas from killing us.
Yeah, because that's...
Oh, no.
And that orca shredder that like flapped her tail and was just like, what the hell is this? And stormed off was just like, you people are disgusting.
I'm out of here.
I'm out of
Hi,
here.
Penny Lane.
That's awful. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Penny Lane is making an appearance on the podcast.
Hi, Penny Lane.
Penny Lane. Oh, she's speaking.
She's a talk?
Yeah, she talks a lot.
She just told me that she uses defensive defecation on you all the time,
Yeah.
Steven.
Oh, no. I'm not even going to call it out because I feel like, I've definitely been thrown up on by her before. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Defensive pukification.
Pukification.
Bro, this is one of the
Exactly.
grossest stories you've ever told me.
I know. I'm
On
sorry.
or off air.
On or off air.
That's
So,
It's
I
not gross. It's
thankfully-
nature.
yeah. Sir David Attenborough is like, oh, the whales have the defensive defecation.
And the whales got together in a pod. And as they were excreting excrement, the orcas all got upset. Before we move on, I just want to show you guys a couple of pictures.
Oh, yeah.
That of course we will share on the screen for the YouTube version. Here's the red, what they thought was the blood bubble after it had burst.
Ooh.
It's like a hot pink almost.
Shit bubble.
Oh.
It doesn't look like it though. It literally just looks like it's like neon from the 80s, like red.
But if you like zoom in, you can.
Okay.
You know what?
I mean, it
I have
kind of looks
I
like
have a
chum.
story for later.
All right, and then this is my favorite of the sperm whale afterwards. It looks like it's just taunting them and laughing.
It looks like he's cackling.
It just has its mouth and its head out of the water, and it looks like it's like ah.
Wait, did you say when the story was again?
This was like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Yeah, this was recently. Also-
defensive defecation.
Yeah. This is not from this specific incident, but I just thought these pictures were really insane and strangely beautiful, which I know you guys will probably not agree with, but somebody got shots of this from underwater.
Oh.
I mean, it is kind of beautiful if you don't think about what it is.
If you don't look at the chunks in the water, yeah, it's it's some good colors. Yeah. Oh.
Wow. Weirdly, this is, you know what this is reminding me of? It's like how every movie poster from like 2002 to like 2015 had that teal and
Yes.
orange because it's
Yes.
the color wheel thing.
That's why it looked familiar. Someone should make a movie about this.
Coming this summer, defensive defecation from Michael Bay. In a world where whales shit for defense.
I'm gonna die. That's so good.
I
It's
don't
amazing.
think the whales should shit everywhere. I don't know why
Is that
it's like
Michael? Is that Michael
Moss
Caine?
Caine. Yeah. There was a whale who would not stop
Whale.
defecating.
I think that the reason I'm so like deeply disgusted by this, and not for the obvious reasons, but I had this flashback to when I worked at a water park, and I was a janitor, and one of my jobs was to get the long-handled net and fish poop out of the kids' pool.
You've talked about this before, yeah.
Yes, but there was one day, I think I may have talked about this show, I don't know. There was one day where I had to get into the water because I couldn't reach it. And it was not solid, and I thought it was solid. I hit it with the net, and then it was not solid. And I was the whale, I was the orca in this scenario, as I had to wade out of that pool, surrounded by diary. We can cut that, Stephen. I'm sorry.
no.
No, it's okay.
No. You guys, I'm sorry, because I'm the one who brought the diarrhea story.
We can go to a different story now.
Yes, it doesn't sound. This is like when we did the Viking episode, and then I
Yeah.
was like quiet throughout the whole thing, and I'm like, oh my God, Hannah, I kind of broke you in a way that I did not expect
You broke
to.
me. It's
Oh,
because
wow.
of that time when I was a janitor at a water park. I'll never forget.
Good to know.
How could
Anyway,
I?
that's my tab.
Wow. I was going
What,
to say,
Stephen?
Hannah is having the like Apocalypse Now, like helicopters when you're telling the whale
PTSD,
story.
Which also is kind of what it looks like. It looks like Agent Orange, but under the water.
It does. Oh.
You're welcome. Go ahead. Speechless.
Okay. Okay. We're staying in the ocean with my story.
Oh, wow.
Oh no.
Cleanse.
Yeah, but don't worry. It's no.
Oh, no.
No, it's not diarrhea this time. Yeah, no, you kind of shocked me. It's really hard to do.
I'm just glad I got it out of my system.
No.
Stephen, no.
No.
Our second guest walks off the
I just go
I
like
feel
this.
like everyone who listens to this show is going to be like, never again. We're just going to lose listeners with this one.
We might. All right, I'm ready. So we're staying in the ocean, sort of, for this one, and I'm not going to read the title of the article because it'll give it away. But the story starts in 1997 on February 13th. And we're in the Atlantic Ocean, right off the coast of England, and we're on a cargo boat. I don't know why I'm saying we're. We're not on it, but there's a cargo boat.
That's like a pitch. That's like a movie pitch. We're like,
you're right.
On this. That's what we're doing. Yeah. Everyone's getting ready to buy Valentine's gifts last minute.
Calm seas on a cargo ship the cargo ship was called the Tokyo Express.
Yes.
Now, this cargo ship had just departed Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and it was on its way to New York to deliver the shipment. And a little ways off the coast of Cornwall, do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what this is.
Oh, okay, that's fine. A little ways off the coast of Cornwall, a rogue wave happens. They experience a rogue wave. And for a while, they didn't think these waves existed because they were only in like folklore and stuff. But turns out you can have like a calm sea and then a wave comes out of nowhere and just completely
weird.
Just destroys
capsizes. And this was like firsthand witness. And then nowadays they can like track them and they're very rare. And so this rogue wave comes out and the boat tips 60 degrees to one side, 40 degrees to the other. So it's enough to just for all these cargo containers to just start falling off.
Whoa.
Oh.
And in a total, about 62 containers were washed overboard.
Wow.
Some of them had like disposable lighters in them, and some of them had like super glue, like random stuff, and a lot
stuff
of
that's good
chemicals.
for the ocean.
Stuff that fish love. Stuff that fish love.
They're smoking the straws. You know, the turtles are smoking straws.
They're snorting super glue. They're like,
they get like rubber cement. Dude, they don't give rubber cement to kids anymore.
Really?
because of us.
Because I wanted to feel dizzy and weird during school instead of paying attention.
Snorting pixie stick generation.
Oh my goodness. That actually gave me the worst headache of my life because I did the most things for
You actually snorted
attention.
a pixie stick?
Dude, I did anything for attention when I was
I never snorted a pixie stick.
I ate what people told me to eat. I did. I was the court jester, and I did it to myself. So now I have a podcast. Anyway, most notably, there is a container filled with roughly 5 million pieces of Lego. Is this what you thought I was doing?
Well,
yeah.
I thought it was either going to be Garfield phones.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the Garfield phones.
No.
Yeah.
Garfield phones is a whole different.
And they're
insane.
in France, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say that was in France where that showed up.
So this is the article. It's about what they call the Great Lego Spill of 1997. And the article is from Smithsonian from 2022, written by Elizabeth Camillo, and it's called "After 25 Years at Sea, Shipwrecked Lego Pieces Are Still Washing Ashore on Beaches in England." So
wow.
I actually found an account on Twitter, like I want to say like 10 years ago, called Lego Lost at Sea. And it was this woman who lives in Cornwall who goes to the beach combing and just collects all the Lego she can find. I found me Legos.
Sorry.
Is that your Cornish accent?
That's very rude.
You just did a pirate accent. Because Cornwall.
Also,
by the way, when I hear Cornwall... Oh, go ahead, Steven.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, every time I hear Cornwall, all I hear is Lucille Bluth being like, everyone's laughing and riding and cornholing except Buster.
And cornholing except Buster.
Except Buster. That's all I hear every time you say Cornwall.
Cornwall's a place.
The cornholer.
Ooh. So I like that we talked about Lego earlier because this is all about Lego. And I forgot to show you. I even themed it on accident.
Ooh.
I have a
whoa, the background.
I have a photo, not a photo. It's an art print by, first of all, follow. I'll put her name in the notes, but it's Toma Wagner, and she did this really cool.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Very cool.
And then also
nice job connecting the first and third tabs.
Oh, thank you. That was good.
I had to redeem myself for destroying the podcast with my tab.
I was also going to say we are a Lego household. And so lately I've been building for fun.
I need to hold a Lego.
And I made this little boat.
It's over there.
That's beautiful, Hannah.
That's cute.
My favorite thing to do is to... Thank you. My favorite thing to do...
I like that it's got a white flag on it, by the way. You're immediately surrendering.
It's part of my culture, all right? Nice to a fault. Anyway, that's my boat I built a little while ago. Not for this show. So don't start thinking that. Okay, I have to read. I'm stalling because I've closed the tab. Okay.
Well, I want to say I've become a Lego adult person where I do say I don't say plural Legos anymore.
No, you're not allowed to.
And it's kind of embarrassing. Because the plural of Lego is Lego. It's not Legos.
God.
I'm going to tell you right now.
The woke have gone too far. Once again, can't even refer to it as Legos.
These are a bunch of tech boys that are pushing this. Because I say that because my husband is one of them. And he's like, don't ever say Legos in my house.
I'm going to say Legos as much as I want, just to spite everybody.
I
just
tried
out of
that,
anger.
but all he does is be like, it's Lego. It's Lego.
I don't want to be like that. It's more of like I just personally feel comfortable only saying Lego now. But if you want to say Legos, it's fine. I'm okay with it. I won't be offended.
I'm not.
Listen, I will not say GIF, and I will not say Lego singular. I refuse to do these two things. It's too much. I will also not accept that dinosaurs have feathers. That's weird. I don't like that. This is it. In my brain, I'm stuck. I'm like a conservative old man who's mad about things.
First, you're an you're a flat earther, and now you say dinosaurs don't have feathers.
Every time I open up a book now
Legos?
of dinosaurs, it upsets me. I'm like, these are not the dinosaurs I grew up with. I don't understand.
Back in my day, we had rubber cement and
we hopped on rubber cement.
Hairless dinosaurs. Hairless.
Smooth.
Plucked bear.
Dinosaurs.
I think I've been able to get used to all the lies that we've been told that when we're children, the food pyramid is fake. Because I am like
Pluto is still a planet, by the way, in my mind as well. Just to add this last thing on there. Sorry. Continue.
Well, so more open tab fodder. I'm related to the person who discovered Pluto.
What?
And Clyde Tombaugh is my cousin's great uncle, I believe.
Whoa.
So it's not like, it's kind of, it's enough removed. But, I think seeing that situation, I've become used to, dinosaurs have feathers, Legos are Lego.
Life is malleable. Things change.
Yeah.
It's okay.
They've just invented more categories to call planets.
They
it's
have.
Not that it's...
And you know what? If you're going to get like old man conservative grumpy about anything, it should be this and not like
Legos.
Gender and stuff.
Yeah. No, right? Yeah. Put the energy on.
Legos that make me angry. It's about GIFs.
Take that Eye of Sauron
GIF is
that you
disgusting.
get when you get older. And just focus it on Lego.
I respect pronouns, but not Lego. Screw that.
I will not call them Lego.
Yeah, I refuse.
Okay. Back to it. This one's fun. This is a fun episode. Okay. So my first
this one's fun. Sorry, I'm glad, Hannah, that you finally enjoyed one of the episodes.
I was gonna quit, but then finally it got better. And so I've been following this account, Lego Lost at Sea, and it's run by a woman named Tracy Williams, who has had a long lifetime of back to childhood of beachcombing because she's from Devon and Cornwall, this area of England, the southwest coast. And she started finding, about 20 years ago, little flippers, little Lego flippers, like the kind you put on scuba feet. And then she started finding flowers and scuba tanks and all these weirdly maritime-themed Lego washing up on the beach. It turns out that cargo container, it had mostly just ocean-themed Legos in it. Lego. And so
I did not know that. I didn't know that about it. Oh my gosh.
They're all ocean-themed, which is hilarious to me. So Tracy Williams started taking pictures of everything she'd find on the beach because she was like, oh, interesting. Now, today I'm getting more flat little tiny Lego flowers, and today I'm getting more spear guns, or today I'm getting an octopus, which apparently she says is the rarest one of the rarest ones.
Whoa.
And she says, finding a Lego octopus makes me gasp aloud. They're so scarce. But finding one in the bright yellow life rafts was significant too. I've only found one in my 23 years of searching.
Wow.
So she has been doing this for 20 years. Her family helps her, and she documents all these finds. So she has these posts where it's like a picture of just like only scuba gear, only seaweed. It's like little Lego seaweed, and ship rigging, Lego ship rigging, and then dragons for some reason, just a bunch of dragons. And so I got to read this really cool article by her. An interview. And she goes into all of like what got her into it, and she actually ended up writing a book called Adrift, where she takes pictures of them. Whoa. And she documents all of that. Also, weirdly enough, all these different, the order in which these Lego washed ashore has actually taught scientists and people about underwater currents.
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So like they can take these pieces that weigh a certain amount and say, okay, if plastic weighs this amount, it will take this long to get to shore.
Wow.
You know, or this certain current will take this here. And which is all, it's interesting because it all ended up on the beaches of Cornwall because that's where the currents took it. But some of them have ended up even in like Texas or the Gulf of Mexico. So someone found one of these octopuses like way far away, and it's given these a ton of insight into like how plastic interacts with the ocean and how to
which is so relevant to right now.
Right. And so it's sad that they all, you know, there's a ton of Lego in the ocean, but the silver lining is that now we're learning about the ocean and plastic. So
it's also raised a new fear in me right now, which is like there's those giant piles of trash that are in the ocean.
Yeah.
Right. But now we have a bunch of Legos, which means those giant piles of trash are going to start getting connected to each other very easily because there's pieces of Lego in both of them. It's just going to become more convenient for those trash piles to get even bigger and bigger. Mark my
as far
words.
as I'm concerned, that's just going to make a stronger island of trash.
We could live on
It's going to be built on Legos. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We could live there with our fake houses.
The Mariner, West Waterworld is coming true.
Yeah, but with way more plastic.
Yeah.
I have seen that movie, Kaveh. Have you?
I have.
Okay, so there's more on the ship's manifest. So some of these Lego have never been found. So
Whoa.
there's the ship manifest. There's some that have never shown up, but they're somewhere in the ocean. And you got to see some of these pictures. I'm going to send you some of these photos really quick. Okay.
Well, I was going to say, because the other potential story or the other one that came to mind was the Garfield phones.
Yes.
And those, like, it almost seems like wherever that shipwreck is, and I don't remember, Smithsonian Atlas Obscura, it's like in one of those, but it's like, it's almost like the container, like, as it's rusting, like releases more Garfield phones every few decades or whatever out into the
they
wild.
Come in waves.
Some merch drop is basically what they're doing. They're like, we're only going to be doing it for a week. You got to sign up here. It's 2 p.m. on April 11th. Sign up right now to get your exclusive Garfield drop. Yeah.
Hold on.
There's
I
a
had
resale
the
value for it.
Hottest collab of the summer.
Garfield plus ocean. Merch.
Well, oh wow! So she like styles it a little bit more. It's not just like a photo of like for eBay. It's like a beautiful.
This one is not hers. I think this is somebody who put a background to all of these, but she does document them in a very cool looking way. Like, go to her. Everyone listening, go follow Lego Lost at Sea. She's on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. So she's everywhere, and it's just. Yeah, so if you can see all those little spear guns, those started washing up first because they are the lightest. And same with the rigging and the cutlasses and the seagrass, and that was like for the first like 10 or so years. And then the bigger pieces started coming up. So it just showed that like wherever they were at the bottom of the ocean, it did end up pushing them at some point up onto the shore.
Wow.
And while I was reading about this, I was like, what other things have spilled into the ocean? And then I went down a big old rabbit hole there.
That feels like a list. That feels like a Wikipedia list.
I think it is. But I want to tell you about a couple of them because I can't go into all of them because they're insane.
Yeah.
They're insane. But one of them is called the Great Sneaker Spill of 1990. And it was a bunch of super expensive Nikes that were in these containers. They fell overboard near Alaska and started these like singular shoes, these nice like collector's Nikes, started washing up on the shore of the Pacific Northwest. And it turned into this thing where everyone would find one and be like, okay, we're having a Nike meetup so we can find the other match to my shoe. Because they would float upside down. So the sole was floating and the shoe was under. And so the birds wouldn't peck at them. So when you washed them, they were good as new. So people would be like, oh, dope, free shoes. I need the left one now or the right one. And they would have these big meetups on the beach where they would trade to like find.
Whoa.
That's amazing.
And when they made them to Hawaii, it took about 10 months for them to go from there to Hawaii, the shoes. A similar little like behind the scenes like market showed up there too. So it was like this weird like treasure,
That's
Shoe
cool.
drop, yeah.
And then another one is the Garfield phones where they they've just been washing up on shore for the last, what was it, like since the 80s?
Yeah.
Or something?
I mean,
Every
yeah,
Monday.
definitely. Yeah, it wasn't like a Nokia Garfield phone. It was like a
No, it was like a,
landline.
Yeah, it was like a landline. Yeah.
yeah. I always wanted that phone.
I
I
know.
should just go to the beaches of
You can go
Garfield.
get one for free.
Of
The beaches
France.
of Garfield.
I
We
mean,
fought on the beaches of Garfield.
wait,
Okay.
wait, or I keep going, but I want to look up on eBay how much one of these
Sorry,
Garfield
but Garfield
phones is.
would have a Michelin guide when he lands on the beaches of Garfield. Let's just put
He
that
would.
in there,
He
obviously.
would. Yeah.
Wow, there's one in the box for $350,
What?
but there's
I want an ocean one.
Yeah, there's like the most broken ones are like 40. So I mean, if you felt like getting crafty, but yeah, they're kind of all in the hundreds, early
That's
hundreds
crazy.
range. Pretty cool. Oh, look at that. Wait,
I can't see it. Oh, that
Nice.
is such a good phone. Look
I don't.
at that.
I don't know if this one's specifically the ocean one, but it's another. It's
It's a
Garfield.
Garfield
Yeah,
phone.
yeah,
It's a replica.
And then in 1992, a couple of them happened, and one of them was,
The Exxon Valdez.
yeah. Oh, so many dead seals. 12 containers full of bath toys went overboard.
Bath toys.
Wow.
It's
So
very
it was
convenient.
like rubber ducks and turtles and frogs. And usually bath toys have a little hole so that they can like sink. These
Yeah.
did not. So they were the perfect, indestructible little floaty things. And there's just a bunch of rubber ducks in the
This is
ocean
great.
still.
This turns into like Lars and the Real Girl, where there's some real duck that finds like a rubber duck, and it's like, this is my wife or my girlfriend that's coming to town, and they try to introduce them to all the different ducks. Or same
And
with the
they're
turtles.
like, you found that in the ocean.
They're like, that's not real. And then all the other ducks are like, we need to accept he's going through something. We need to allow him to.
I love
express
that
this.
movie.
It's a good one. Lars and the
anyway.
Real Duck.
Oscar nominated Lars and the Real Duck. And Ryan Gosling is the duck in this one.
Oh my God! It all ties together.
Oh, and then in 1992, also, this is a bad year for ocean spills. The arsenic spill of 92,
Oh,
where
not good.
four containers of highly concentrated arsenic went overboard in New Jersey,
poor Jersey.
and they were able to get a bunch of them back, but then they also coated the decks of the ship with, like I said, extremely powerful arsenic
No.
to the point where the crew had to be hospitalized because none of them could breathe.
Oh, that sucks.
And they had to kind of just like scrap the boat because there's covered in
Oh,
arsenic.
jeez.
And then in 1990, I have one more. Tracy Williams, the same person that collects the Lego, she started finding cargo from 100 years ago, from like 1917.
Whoa.
From this some boat. But I'm not going to go into detail with that because that's an entirely different tab and story, and I kind of want to keep it for
World
later.
War I time, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's all these like crazy things in the ocean, and it's sad, and fish are eating them, but at least they're nautical themed. That's the moral of my story.
I love it.
That's my tab.
If fish love one thing, it's a
Yay.
good theme. Okay, now we're going to move on to the part of the show where we finally close our tabs. Steven, do you have any suggestions of a fun sound effect that you would like to hear while please? Something that's related to one of the tabs that we did, like perhaps
Like the sound of hot gurgling water.
I was I was going to say like a Lego clicking together, maybe.
Oh,
Legos
but it needs to
being or
it
collapsing.
Needs to be destructive. How about whale tails splashing the ocean?
Whale tails or getting washed up on the
I do like the whale is slapping
Yeah.
of the water. I think that's like a
Tails slapping on the water.
decisive, yeah.
It's like
Okay.
slapping the tabs out of our hands.
Very good. Hannah, would you
Okay.
like to do the countdown?
Yeah. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Close those tabs. I had like 6 open. This is bad.
They were gone.
I had my whole week. It's gone.
You
But
just
I-
deleted all of them?
It's fine. It's just all the same 5 things, and then
Save them in the
fake build it.
notes app.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
I got the messy notes, but
Okay, moving on to listener emails.
yes.
Email number 1 is from Mary from Indianapolis. Thank you for writing in,
Hi,
Mary.
Mary.
Hi, Hannah and Kaveh. My closed tab isn't one I had open for a long time, but because of the podcast, I was inspired to open and close it in the same day rather than letting it sit on my phone forever or forgetting
Wow.
about it. My friends and I, Stephen, I chose this one for you. My friends and I were at the Field Museum in Chicago,
Yeah.
and they have
He already
Sue,
knows.
the world's most complete T-Rex.
Are you doing Mac?
Yeah.
The exhibit mentioned that the dino was named after the woman who found her, Sue Hendrickson. Do you know about this, Stephen?
Yeah.
Okay. This made me go, I wonder what she's up to nowadays, and looked her up on the Wikipedia page while we were taking a sitting down break. I was expecting just a normal paleontologist page, but actually, this woman has led the most incredible life and maybe the coolest person I've ever heard of. Definitely recommend reading her whole wiki, and she has a memoir I have now requested from the library, but here are some highlights. Dropped out of high school at age 17, traveled around the U.S. with her boyfriend, settled in Florida where she got a job as a diver collecting tropical fish for an aquarium business, plus part-time worked as a lobster fisherman and volunteered at paleontological digs.
I want this life.
Eventually started doing salvage dives, initially for modern wrecks, but then started doing older shipwrecks and working with the archaeologists. This is all coming back together.
It's all tying together. This is weird.
Totally by accident. Then was mining amber in the Dominican Republic, where she found 23 million old butterflies in amber, which is 50% of the world's collection.
Wow.
She found that too boring for a full-time job. Started working with a paleontologist, excavating fossilized whales and dolphins. Again, tying back. Finally, this takes her to the Black Hills of South Dakota, where she finds Sue the T-Rex. Then it looks like she went back to doing marine archaeological expeditions, including Napoleon's Lost Fleet. She's now 74 and lives on an island off the coast of Honduras, probably still doing cool shit. So sorry I tried to make this short, but I couldn't leave out any of this. Honestly, the coolest woman ever, and the life I think a good chunk of us wish we had. Love the podcast. Mary from Indianapolis. Thank you, Mary. That is interesting.
Dude, Sue's awesome.
I just showed a picture of my friend Andrea and I, who we podcast a bunch together on See Jurassic, right? We're with Sue.
Yeah.
That's Sue? That's a
Sue.
recent photo you put up.
Yeah, this is from 2023, and there's been a meme on Twitter because, for those who don't know, Sue is like a rogue Field Museum account where they get to be awesome and political and talk about issues and kind of, they're not sort of saddled by having to work for this institution. It's like it's a hilarious voice of dinosaurs and people, and it's just a really fun, funny, interesting account. But there became a meme for a while of people bringing actual ham, like raw, like not raw, but well, I guess raw, or just processed ham or whatever, to offer, the terror bird that is Sue.
Oh my goodness.
The murder bird that is Sue. And so my friend Andrea and I actually brought we just got a dog toy that looks like a piece of ham.
Oh, yeah.
But
it's probably better.
But for people going to the Field Museum, don't leave real ham because somebody has to clean that up.
Yeah.
Bring plastic ham and then throw it in the ocean afterwards so that it can wash up on a beach
Out of
somewhere.
Context, the sentence, don't bring real ham because someone has to clean that up, is awesome. And that could be anything.
Yeah. Field Museum is great. Literally just posted about it again today because I've
Wait,
done...
really?
Well, because, Andrew and I, she's an oil painter, Strange Bird Art on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
We've been doing a lot of collaborations. We're doing, sort of an estimate, but in Jurassic June, we're doing a whole series together. And she's doing oil paintings and paleo art and stuff. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, fun.
But we did a Charles R. Knight episode, and because the murals at Charles R. Knight in Chicago, at the Field Museum, he did these giant murals of dinosaur paintings in the 1920s, and he was basically legally blind when he did them.
Whoa.
But Andrew and I did a whole episode about it on the podcast, and it's just fascinating stuff.
I gotta listen.
Dude, paintings that are like the size of of a wall of a room,
That is so foreign to me, like the idea of doing a mural. I don't even know where I'd start. I would just be like, no, I need a tiny sketchbook. That's all. I can't.
How much did you know about Sue Hendrickson?
Did I know?
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know as much as this person was described. I knew she had an interesting life, and that's about it, to be honest. But I knew that this was the person who discovered Sue, because in Sue's exhibit, they have a section devoted to her. So
cool. I want to meet this lady.
Yeah. All you got to do is, she's in Honduras. Is that what she said? Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Pod field trip.
Go ahead, Hannah.
500 open roads. Okay.
Next email.
Email number 2, it comes from Robert from the UK, and he says, "Hi, I've just listened to Lobotomize Me Horse Daddy
The titles for your podcast are always so great.
They're insane.
We work hard at those.
It's lobotomize me, horse daddy. And there was a question about what lobotomies do. As a therapist who has studied psychology in under and post-grad, I've covered a lot of brain biology, so I hope I can answer.
I love
Trigger
this.
warnings for gross stuff. As long as there's no diarrhea, I'm fine. A lobotomy, specifically a transorbital lobotomy, is essentially a focused form of brain damage. By using a sharpened pick inserted through the eye socket, the doctor or just... Yeah, you didn't know this?
No!
What?
I always thought, like, in sci-fi, it's like there's the stitches on the back of the head that they, like, open up and do stuff.
They go the eye or they go through the nose.
You're right. Yeah, we did a My Favorite Murder episode about it.
Yeah, you did, huh?
2 or 3 years ago.
It was gross.
Sorry,
Yeah.
continue.
That's
So you're
I got
poking
you
him
back.
through the eyeball.
I got you back. Just screamed. Okay. By using a sharpened pick inserted through the eye socket, the doctor, or just a guy with a pointy bit of metal, as that's how it used to be a lot, would weaken the connection between the frontal lobe and the rest of the brain, specifically the thalamus, by cutting through the white connective matter. The frontal lobe deals with complex thoughts like planning, restraint, and other very complex functions that make us incredible creatures. The thalamus is a connective relay that plays a vital role in many different functions. Look up an article about Phineas Gage, classic, for a classic case study about what happens when the frontal lobe is damaged. Have you gotten to open that tab before?
No.
Oh,
That's a My Favorite Murder episode as well, too.
you should listen. That's a good one. It's Phineas Gage had gotten like a tamping iron stick like that they use for railroads. It exploded and it like went straight through his face.
Yeah.
And he was fine.
Oh, okay. That didn't go the way I thought it was.
No, he was like conscious the entire time and like talking, and then there was this huge pole, just like
through his head.
It's a great hook for a story. You're like, the thing went through his space, this huge,
and he was totally fine.
And then what happened next is like
he would go tour with it with this big anyway.
And now,
which is what I would do. Always grind. Grind never stops. Grind never stops. Okay. By weakening or severing these lobes, it had a numbing effect on the unfortunate patient's emotions and all those pesky independent thoughts and behaviors women might have.
Wow.
A large part of the lobotomy's quote-unquote success was emptying out psychiatric facilities as patients could be returned home in a docile, passive state. It was not a well-controlled or reliable surgery, though, and there were lots of side effects and variability present in patients. It also became a bit of a cure-all, from treating mental illnesses to curing gay men and calming down women. It was overprescribed and used for everything. It's a very dark time in medicine, and honestly something I feel the field needs to reflect on a great deal. Yeah. As far as I know, they are no longer used in any treatment. Loving the podcast, Robert. Yeah, that's
that reminds me a lot of our friend Ronald Reagan in the 80s.
Yeah, famously.
Mental health crisis, just shut him down and put him in the street and it'll fix itself and it doesn't matter.
Take a pickaxe to the eye.
Yeah.
Whoa!
All I picture is
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan
as T-1000 just stabbing people through the eyeball as they're drinking orange juice.
I'll be back, mommy.
The Gipper would like
to
to
call
stab
his
you in
wife
the eyeball.
mommy or something?
He did. He didn't call her like mom, or was that Nixon?
Mother.
I think that was Ronald Reagan.
Mother.
Mother. Hello, mother. Is it me or is she suddenly a lot hotter?
Hello, mother.
Hello, mother.
It is like lobotomies. I think it's one of those, they're like, did it help at all? And you kind of feels like no, kind of like the DARE program. Did it actually help anyone not do drugs?
No, it just taught me what meth looked like.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was like early days of My Favorite Murder. A murderino had sent in one of those kits where it has like all the little samples of all the different drugs.
Yeah.
This is cocaine. This is meth.
There's a sampler
heroin.
of drugs that they were handing out to kids?
No, like somebody would go do the DARE tour and they would have one of these things to show off to classrooms of like, this is what all
with
the
a
drugs
stash,
look
though?
like.
There'd be like, there was actual
was
weed
fake.
and blow and all this
No.
stuff?
Wait, were they fake? I thought
I
they
thought it
were
was fake. I don't think it was real.
Yeah.
Wait, what'd you say?
That makes more sense.
Was it Lego?
Yes, it was Lego cocaine. Should we... Challenge. Let's make a DARE box out of Lego.
Yes.
A DARE kit.
I think that'd be really fun.
If you're listening and you have enough
somebody's done
Lego
that.
pieces where you can do that, make a
You're
make
talking
a dare
directly
kit
to somebody
out
who
of
has enough Lego
Legos.
pieces for that.
And that's right. It's Legos with an S. I don't care what anyone says.
Sorry, Sean. I tried. I really did try, Sean. If you're
I'm
listening to
stubborn.
this,
You know me. I'll just out of
please don't
spite.
divorce me for who I'm associating with.
Please don't divorce me, Sean.
Don't divorce Kame. Okay. Well,
Anyway, if you also have a listener tab that you would like to submit and have us read on the show, go ahead and send us an email to 500opentabs@gmail.com. That's 500opentabs.
okay.
And let us know what you learned, the link, and where you're from, because we like hearing all that information. And that about brings us to the end of this episode.
Steven, I'd love if you want to plug anything right now, like your Instagram, your projects.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. This was so much fun. I loved going down this. I loved
for
going
coming.
down the rabbit holes with you guys. And this week I got to do it with you
Why are
guys.
you laughing?
Not just
I said thank you for coming.
No, I'm laughing that I don't know. I'm not attacking you. I'm just laughing.
see. This is I get to experience this in real time instead of the parasocial.
The chaos.
Yes. But yeah, no, you can
Deeply
follow me-
disappointing. It's much better when it's parasocial.
I'm just yelling into the abyss. No, but you can follow me at Stephen Ray Morse and all the things. See Jurassic Right. Talk about not just Jurassic Park or dinosaurs, but just anything that keeps you curious as an adult. Kind of
cool.
like this side of things, you know. Like
Yeah.
The tabs I'm sure have been looked up beforehand. I don't share that part on the podcast, but and then Keenan and Lakin give you Deja Vu. It's a step-by-step rewatch podcast with Christine Lakin and Stacey Keenan, who are on the show, Al Lambert and Dana Foster, respectively. And that show is also, you know, there's all the 90s ephemera and the fashion and all the strange things that come with doing a
Cool.
sitcom every week. So there is like every episode of Step by Step, it's like, oh, you know, this was done in, 1992. There's like clues about culture. And they're like in the first season, there's a whole episode about the dangers of answering machines, like because that was like a new technology.
Kids
was
these
like,
days.
was Patrick Duffy's character being suspicious of like how you could leave a message, and that is like a whole
wow.
like, more sort of kind of thing. So Keenan and Lakin give you Deja Vu, or Keenan and Lakin on Instagram. But yeah, it's very fun. We've only been doing it for a couple months, but it's really they're such a delight. And yeah, Step by Step was my favorite TGIF show growing up. So it's been really fun to work with them. But yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Wonderful.
And you can follow us at 500 Open Tabs on Instagram and Twitter and, I don't know, Threads, right? Are we on Facebook? No,
We're
we
not
should be on
Threads,
Facebook.
No. That's
And
basically it.
You can follow me at Hannah Hillam on
We
Instagram.
also have, you can follow me at PermaFriends on Instagram, but the show has a Discord. I was like, I don't matter. The show has a
You
Discord.
matter.
You do.
Don't forget, we do video episodes. We're on YouTube. Join the Discord. The Discord every day. We say this every week.
Fun.
It's getting more and more fun and getting more insane. We also have our Google list that we call 500 Open Roads, which is indicated on the map of all the different places that we've talked about, and then their corresponding episode where you can learn more about it if you want. It's really fun. We're challenging the Michelin Guide. We're coming for them. We're definitely going to overtake them very soon. And
we aren't, unlike them, helping the Nazis win anything.
That's true. Neither did they. Not intentionally, anyway. Hannah, you got something coming up.
So I will be at London Comic Con the last week of May. So that's coming up. And if you're in London or anywhere in England, I don't know, come see. I will draw your cat. And also I have a book. You can go order that at just search Cat People by Hannah Hillam. Yeah, it's up for pre-order.
Cat
so
people. Again, thank you, Steven, so much.
Thank
We
you.
hope to have you on again soon, but not too soon, because then it's weird because you just were on here. But we're going to have you back eventually.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got a turn to be on my podcast. 'cause,
Yes. I know,
that was
yeah,
the
because
one-
both of you have been on my podcast, so
yeah.
I feel
And
very
I had
honored
you
to have
on
come.
musical spinning. By the way, if you guys are interested,
And I was on musical splaining.
you were both on
Oh.
musical spinning. Yeah, Steven was on the episode where we did South
Just
Park,
South.
Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Hannah,
That's
of course,
right.
was on Book of Mormon.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And anyway, thanks again, everybody. Keep it Josie. We'll see you
Keep it Josie.
at the next one. Steven,
Yeah.
I'll see you in the neighborhood because
Yeah.
I see
You
you
guys
all
are
the time.
neighbors.
We're neighbors.
We're neighbors.
Love you
Anyway,
guys.
okay, bye.
Bye.